Yeah, listen, all you can control is your next game and what performance you put out there. Listen, the game shouldn't even have been this close. When you plus 4 in the turnover margin, that should have been like a 23-3 type game and end up being 23-13. But when we get to that's bugging me, I'll only tell you what's bugging me. Like Dennis Allen said, you can't let them get behind you. The clock is your friend. You can't give up chunk plays like 2-play drives and stuff like that. Boy, I'm glad Trey Palmer fumbled on that one, but look how wide open he was. But, we've been opportunistic overall this year. Now, 7 games, we've had at least 2 or more takeaways. That's a vast improvement over last year when you consider you want to protect the football and you want to take it away. So now, if you look at it, the Bucs came into the game plus 10, which was tied for number 1 in the league, so they are plus 6. And now, all of a sudden, we go from plus 4 to plus 8. No, so we should be better than a 500 team with those kind of numbers. But it is what it is. The one thing I thought overall, I thought they would have sacked Derek Carr more, but you got to give him a lot of credit. When you look at sacks and what occurs, they had 1 sack and we had 2 sacks. They came into the game with 44 sacks and we had 31. So that was a surprise, even though Ryan Ramczyk being out and Landon Young gets hurt, then all of a sudden we bringing in the veteran from Florida State, and I mean he was outstanding. Now I forgot his name.
Cam Irving.
Cam Irving. Not Cam Jordan, Cam Irving. Yeah, so when I look at that, the guy stepped up. Look at John Abram and what he did, taking advantage of his opportunity to play. That was truly a diamond in the rough, even though he's a former first-round draft pick, but taking advantage of his opportunity to play. Now, can Carolina help us out and beat Tampa Bay? I don't know if that's going to happen. But we'll look and see. All you can do, again, you got to take care and beat the Falcons next week, and then you still got to you're saying we have a chance. You still have an outside chance. But I thought it was outstanding how we started the game. I almost wanted to set the tone that not so much, defer and then you get the ball to start the second half. I'm glad we got the opening kickoff because it couldn't have been a better start. We went 14 plays, 73 yards, 7 minutes, 56 seconds. That was Carr to Juwan Johnson, 4-yard touchdown. We're up 7-0. But that's how you keep the crowd out of the game. That was actually the first touchdown on an opening possession in 16 games. Like in the past, when we were playing before 7, and we were playing 16 games, seems like we do that at least 8, 9, 10 times a season. But that was the first time opening possession touchdown in 16 games. And then we go out there on defense, and we're able to force a 3-and-out. I think we'd have forced back-to-back 3-and-outs. But then, Brian Brzee ended up getting that face mask penalty, and he had a sack. Then Alontae Taylor, look at them. We had illegal contact by Debo, but then Alontae Taylor came up with an interception. So that was his first interception in his career. Remember last year against the 49ers, he had a pick 6. His first interception, and it didn't count. We had a block in the back or something on the return, or something happened before, no holding. But finally got that monkey off his back, and a first career interception of his career. I thought overall, though, the Saints set the tone. You can hear the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans were booing. So some Saints fans are not the only one that boo. I mean, I'm sure they were booing in Philadelphia. The Eagles lost to the Cardinals. Look at the Cardinals. To show you the NFL and how tough it is, any given Sunday, that cliche, the Cardinals have now beat the Cowgirls and the Eagles in the same season. Aren't they considered right there with the 49ers amongst the best in the NFC? Well, I guess the moral of the story is you don't want to play the Cardinals, or you better show up. But I thought we set the tone. We had the ball over 13 minutes more than the Tampa Bay Bucs. I thought that was significant. Our defense has been outstanding on third down. They were only 2 of 8, 25%. We've stayed in the top 5 third down defense throughout the season. Now, red zone and goal to go, there's 2 different scenarios. Red zone is like, they haven't stretched it, like 20-yard line on in. Sean Payton would sometimes say 25-yard on in red zone, but it's really the 20-yard line on in. And then goal to go. Okay, you're inside the 10-yard line. Now, red zone will end up being 1 of 3, 33%. But goal to go this year, we have been outstanding. When we get goal to go, we're 100% today, 1 for 1. We might have had goal to go scenarios off the top of my head, 9, 10, 11, 12, and we only got stopped once when it's been without getting a touchdown. we get inside the touchdown, 10-yard line, we've been scoring touchdowns, and we've been outstanding, and that was the case today, going 1 for 1. Now, we attempted to run the ball. We had the lead. You should. Alvin Kamara wasn't available. When he was available, Alvin Kamara, he averaged like 4.5 yards a run. It was like he hurt his ankle. But we ran the ball 35 times and still only averaged 3.1. Just 1 more yard. It's amazing how much 4.1 would sound. But you know what? I think they only ran the ball 15 times, but overall I think that was pretty good for our defense, giving up 3.8. But that was the key. +4 turnover margin. Baker Mayfield had a couple of interceptions. Derek Carr protected the football. And they had 2 fumbles, and they lost both their fumbles. So in that regard, that was outstanding. Looking at individual numbers, Jamal Williams, I thought he was running hard. He basically doubled Alvin Kamara's carries because Alvin went down with his ankle injury in the second half. But Alvin ran the ball 10 times for 45 yards, 4.5-yard average. Jamal Williams, 19 carries, 58 yards, 3.1. But I thought he was running hard. Now, when you look at the all-purpose yards, because 2 of the best in the NFL was in this game, Rashid Shaheed and Rachaad White. So you look at Rashid Shaheed, he had 82 total yards. I thought he was outstanding in the return game. You know, when you look at that, he averaged 13.5 yards of punt return. He's been amongst the top 3 throughout the NFL season. So I look at that. He had a 27 long, kickoff return. Normally you don't see that. But that was outstanding. Lou Hedley punting the ball right at 45 yards net. So I think that was the net. But anyway, it was right around 45 yards, I think. That goes a long way. But looking at Rashid Shaheed, 82 total yards. Rachaad White for Tampa Bay, who's amongst the best, he had 66 total yards. He's as much a threat as a pass-receiving running back than running the football. He had 11 carries, 42 yards, 3.8 average. Now, Edmonds Dunner, a back, basically average 5.5 yards a carry, but only 3 attempts. But Rachaad White, as a pass-receiving running back, he had 4 catches, 4 targets, 4 catches for 24 yards, but only a long gain of 7. So when you compare who's contributing all-purpose yards, and Jamal Williams had 71. Now Alvin Kamara had 49 total yards, Taysom 42. But the one thing that was puzzling, I thought it was overall outstanding defense, and I'm going to talk about this later. You know what I'm going to say for what's bugging me? Oh, like chunk plays, splash plays. What? We got gash. That's why Tampa Bay came back into the game. Looking on the defensive side, Pete Werner, I would say this might be the first game of the season. He led the team in tackles. He had 9 total tackles, 8 unassisted. Thought he was very active. He had a tackle for a loss also. Abram, you look like 5 total tackles, interception, forced fumble, pass defending. So was very active, more active than if we'd have had, because he's been more opportunistic than Jordan Howden in there. You know, Honey Badger's
dealing
in
with
there.
the illness.
Yeah, and then Marcus May, obviously, we know he's been hurt. But Abram playing alongside Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, took advantage of his opportunity. Brian Brzee, I thought he was outstanding. Had a sack, a quarterback hurry, a tackle for a loss. But you know who's kind of turned the corner? And I think we got to figure this out. He has to rush the passer. Don't put him in coverage. That's what he did at Wisconsin. Zach Bond.
Hello, right.
It's like, okay, no, when I see this, okay, he led the team in quarterback hurries, and he was tied for tackle for loss. Well, he ended up with a sack, 2 quarterback hurries, a tackle for loss, and also a special teams unassisted tackle. But the Saints outplayed Tampa Bay. The Saints deserved to win. Now, it should have been a lot easier than it was at the end. How you had them down, and, you know, when you got them down, you want to kick them when they're down. The whole thing, you want to step on their neck. We kind of let them up, but we still, it could have been a little different how that 2-point play went, considering it was not a double penalty, considering they would have had a chance where an onside kick was. But good for Foster Moreau recovering that, and then you could just kneel down. An outstanding win. Tampa Bay was playing to solidify their hosting and winning the NFC South. And the Saints said, not so fast.